Interested in sailing to Alaska on Norwegian Cruise Line? Then join me today. Hi, I'm Jackie from Glimmering Shimmering Travel. If you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications when my next video drops before we start this video. Today, I'm going to be bringing you my top 12 tips for sailing on Norwegian Cruise Line to Alaska. These are a group of the tips and tricks I found and wish I would have had before my sailing this past spring. Alright, so let's begin. Tip number 1, book everything as early as you can. This is shore excursions, activities, entertainment, and the specialty restaurants. A lot of the popular times go very quickly. Along with the shore excursions, the more popular ones book up right away as soon as your window opens. I highly recommend before even booking your cruise, look into what you may want to do at each port. Also, this goes for embarkation day. The activities book up fairly early, and if you sign up in person, you may actually get a discount on your activity. Book your shore excursions as soon as your window opens. I think ours was 120 days since we were new passengers, but had booked a club balcony. For the club balcony level, it should be 120 days out before your cruise sails. I'm assuming those with a higher status will be able to book even sooner. Tip number 2, book a balcony room. I promise you, you will not regret it. This is one of the biggest tips I can give you on an Alaskan cruise. Waking up every morning to beautiful views was just the absolute best part of the trip. It was insanely awesome. You will not regret it. Another added benefit of a balcony room is the ability to watch for wildlife as you cruise along. There were afternoons where we would take a blanket, our coats and hats, and go watch for wildlife as we cruised to our next port. In Juneau, while we were waiting to leave port, I actually was able to witness a bald eagle swooping down and grabbing a fish right out of the water and flying away. You don't get to see that every day in Indiana. Tip number 3, bring your own shampoo and conditioner. The ones they supplied in the shower were not good. Body wash is fine, but the shampoo and conditioner left my hair like a straw. So bring your favorite shampoo and conditioner in travel size bottles or purchase a travel size bottle to bring with you. Tip number 4, don't go to the complimentary dining rooms or the garden cafe at popular meal times. You will regret it and you will wait. Since Norwegian doesn't have set dining times, you will run into big crowds and probably have to wait in the complimentary dining rooms to be seated. Also, garden cafe usually slammed. You most times had to try to find a table first and then have somebody hold the table while the other is in your party went to grab food, vice versa, and switch off so nobody would try to grab your table from you. I found that between the hours of 5 and 7 were the most popular dining times for dinner. That is absolutely when we made the mistake, and you could see that dining service was super slow because they just couldn't keep up with the amount of people. So my tip, go at different hours. Go early, go later, just don't go between 5 and 7. Tip number 5, make sure you're checking your bill every day. This can be done either in the NCL app on your phone, on the TV in your stateroom, or you can go down to guest services and have them print you out a bill. I am so glad we did this. Our room attendant mistakenly tried to charge us for a water from the mini fridge that we did not use. So we went down to guest services and got that resolved. Also, if you have a dispute, go to guest services before you get off the ship. That way you're talking to a real life person. Otherwise, off the ship, you'll be routed to a NCL call center. Tip number 6, the Garden Cafe is the hidden gem and workhorse of the Norwegian Bliss. This buffet is fantastic. Serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even the pickiest eaters can find something here. My absolute favorite area was the make your own soup. You got to put your own ingredients in, and those soups really hit the spot on those cold Alaska days in April. Tip number 7, if you're looking for a quiet place to relax and recharge, the Norwegian Bliss is probably not for you. However, it may be different on the warmer sailings while people are outside more and can be on deck without freezing their bums off. I highly recommend the library when it is open, the sides of the observation lounge, and your own balcony. You can take a look at my ship tour video and my cabin tour video to get an idea of where these places are. I'll attach those in the links below. Tip number 8, try not to order alcoholic beverages while in port. This includes even the free at sea package, as you will be charged the local tax of that port. So save those cocktails and beers and wines while you're waving goodbye and heading on to that next port. Tip number 9, don't book your flight until after 1 p.m. on debarkation day from Seattle. Just trust me on this one. Debarkation is a slow process and it is absolutely not worth your worry to make that flight on time. I highly recommend getting a hotel for that night and flying out the next morning. That way you have an extra evening, depending when you get in Seattle, you're able to tour the area. Tip number 10, book a Mendenhall Glacier tour in Juneau, Alaska. Doesn't matter which one, your speed or your ability. This may be the only glacier you will get to see, like me on our trip in April. We actually were scheduled to visit here, the Mendenhall Glacier, and then our cruise ship was supposed to go to Glacier Bay to view the glacier over there. Unfortunately, just before we got into Glacier Bay, we had to turn around due to the ice that was in the area, and it was unsafe for us to travel. So we didn't actually get to see the more famous and closer up glacier at Glacier Bay. Tip number 11, pack a lot of layers. This is one tip I should have heeded for our cruise in April. The temperature ranges were all over the place, between the 40s in the morning and the upper 60s in the afternoon. I wish I would have packed more t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, and cardigans to layer up and take on and off during the day. Tip number 12. This is my final tip and probably a warning you could heed on almost any cruise you take and almost any place in the world. You will not have enough time to do everything you want to at port. This is absolutely true of an Alaskan cruise. Most of our ports we had maybe 6 to 7 hours in port, and sometimes even less, and that included travel time to where we were actually going. And that, my friends, are my 12 tips to you for sailing on Norwegian Cruise Line to Alaska from Seattle. If you haven't seen any of my other Alaskan cruise log videos, I'll put those in the description below. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put those below and I'll answer those back as soon as I see them. If you haven't already, go ahead, click subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications when that next video drops, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Again, thank you so much for joining me. And remember, this is not goodbye, but see you real soon.